Hello everybody, how's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. Cheers, dears. I am the storm. All right, today I'm going to talk about these hearings on the transgender stuff. I have a few ideas, but a lot of this has got to do with Nancy DISGRACE there. And a little bit of maggoty trader in here as well. So what I want to talk about is how they're treating different people. I don't know, they just don't get it. I know there's a lot of people that just don't get what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to try and explain it as best I can. So if you're new to this channel, give us a thumbs up. Welcome, by the way. All my hangers on, thanks for coming back and hanging on some more. So yeah, if you like what you see, like it, love it, share it. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's get into it. So I just want to know what in the actual hell is going on with Nancy Mace. I think she needs some serious help. I really do. She said she was assaulted by a man, and that I feel really bad for. She says the flight or fight response kicks in and you either do one or the other. And she said, and I choose to fight. In my opinion only, and for entertainment purposes only, I believe she has now become the hunter. She goes out and antagonizes people. And I think that has something to do with her feeling abused, I guess. Let's go with that. When anyone asks her a question about anything, she turns on her phone, she pushes record, and does a video. And she actually gets really heated really quickly, so people all around can, the way she talks and the things that she says, draws people to a conclusion that somebody is trying to attack her. And she does it every time. She did it with George Stephanopoulos on his show, saying that he was attacking her. He was asking her a question. And she starts saying things like, you're attacking me, I don't feel safe. She's the instigator every single time. It turns out, it starts out perfectly innocent, and she starts saying stuff like that. The video I'm going to talk about was the one in the drugstore with a man asking her a question. He recognized her as his congresswoman and asked politely if she would hold a town hall anytime soon, because you know yourself that Trump has forbid Republicans to do town halls. Told them not to do them. And her response was, you could have gone to a dozen town halls last year. And the man was standing about, I don't know, more than half a length of the aisleway at the drugstore away, was you buying tampons or whatever. And the man said, I just asked if you were going to hold any town halls this year. And every time he opened his mouth, she yelled over him. And she said stuff like, I'm doing some town halls soon. You're welcome to come. And he said, sweet, I accept the invitation. And then she, being the bigot that she is, she just looked at the man and she goes, I voted for gay marriage twice. And he said, what does that have to do with me? She said, well, I'm just saying it has everything to do with you. And he said, you think everything about me has to do with gay marriage? That's the thing you bring up when all I'm doing is asking you for a chance to find out when you're having a town hall? Then the escalation started, and she said, oh, you want to get in my face about town halls? You should have shown up last year. And the guy said, I asked you about town halls, and you throw up gay marriage. She said, that's because you're getting in my face about town halls. If I was him, I would have been afraid of her. Just saying. This is just a whack job looking for a next soundbite at his expense. And that's how it turned out too, by the way. She says, where were you last year? You're fucking crazy. Get out of my face. And he walks to the end of the aisle to leave, and she starts yelling, bye, fuck you, fuck you. The whole time, this man is holding his phone in his hand, and he not once turned that phone on and started recording anything. So she does this all the time. And every time, as soon as it's over, she runs to Fox in front of another camera so she can say, oh, look how badly I'm being treated. He told her as he left, he goes, you are a disgrace to our state, so maybe you should go fuck yourself. So this was 2 weeks ago. And then 2 days ago, the Dogebag hearing with Maggoty Trader, because she's the new subcommittee, sub-Neanderthal, chairperson. They're on their final push now to obliterate LGBTQ folks, and the T being the most important one they want to get rid of, transgender people. The hearing was on trans athletes. In particular, this one was on fencing. As a special guest, Nancy Mace was invited to stir up shit and basically bulldoze all the witnesses, because that's what she does in Congress. And doesn't let anybody answer any questions. She just keeps firing off questions. She must have got lessons from Jim Jordan or something, Jim Bag Jockstrap there. This is about a transgender competitor. This is where taxpayers want to spend their money, on these types of hearings. Seriously, that's what you sent them for. 526,600 and some odd school athletes all through the United States, 10 of which are transgender. But that's a big thing that we need to spend our money on. Their guests were 2 activists. They said that they were harmed by the participation of trans people in their sport. What they mean is transgender women. I have noticed that neither one of these 2 dodge bitches balls have ever brought up trans men. Notice that? It's always trans women in sports. You didn't hear them saying, oh, she can't compete on the men's volleyball team, or she can't be a fencing competitor. Never heard any of that, did you? Did you? Because they always call them by their gender assigned at birth. They never call them their transition, right? Their trans name. So I guess they're just fine with trans men in their change rooms. You know, with big beards, hairy chests, friggin' arms like this. A friend of mine's transgender male, and he is so buff it's ridiculous. His arms are the size of my thighs, and he's got a beard down to here. He's got a shaved head, wears big thick horn rimmed glasses. You want him in your little girl's change room though. You're fine with that. Gender assigned at birth. He was born a girl, but transgender to be a male. But you want him in your, okay. You never bring that up though. You never bring any of that stuff up. You refer to all trans women as mentally ill men. Well, what about all the trans men? Are they mentally ill females? But if a trans man gets tackled by another man on the football field, it's just the sport. It's just what happens. Yet, you want that same trans man to use the bathroom of his gender assigned at birth. Why? So you can go in there and beat the shit out of him or shoot him? Is that what you want? Down the sights, that's what happens. You see a man with a big beard and like muscles and everything else going into women's bathroom. You know what's going to happen, right? So this time, Mace is questioning the fencing coach or fencing, I don't know what you call him, like a director type thing, and asks a question. And before he gets to open his mouth, Nancy Mace is on him saying, oh, what's wrong? Can't answer the question? He tries to respond. He says, oh, that's right. You don't have an answer for that. Next question. Here's, the hearing was just, it was rushed in my opinion because they're phasing out, Elon's gone, right? So they got to finish up all this stuff really fast, and they're going to do anything for a soundbite. So this subject of fencing came up at a tournament on March 30th. They just found out about it. So, oh, Jesus, we better get on it. The competition was just over a month ago, and these right-wing circles care nothing that Maggoty Trader could do some serious damage in the gym to another female. Have you seen her and how reckless she is, how she climbs around on the equipment and stuff like that? Just saying. I don't know, she's got all those B6 attributes. I'm thinking maybe she needs to have a couple tests done to see if there's too much testosterone. Just saying. Back to Mace, though, Mace the Disgrace, that's what we can call her. I am so sick of her playing the goddamn victim every time you turn around. Every time any of her constituents question her on any of her whacked out policies and blatant lies, she goes full bore, full tilt, and just goes after people. During her campaign to run in the 2022 election, Mango Moose Knuckle actually mocked her at one of the rallies in her home state in South Carolina, in her district. Trump even featured her opponent, Mace's primary opponent, Kate Arrington, who Trump ended up endorsing, not Mace. He made fun of her standing in front of Trump Tower. This was because Mace told CNN on January 7th, the day after the insurrection, that his entire legacy was wiped out yesterday. And then she voted to hold Steve Bannon in contempt of Congress, but not to impeach Trump. Trump said Mace is not at all representative of the Republican Party, to which she is very disloyal. Very disloyal. She went to New York, stood in front of the magnificent Trump Tower, did a commercial insinuating that I was endorsing her. She's standing over there in front of Trump Tower in New York City, and I'm saying, can you believe it? Can you believe it? It was untruthful, just like everything else she says. Untruthful. Was it untruth? At the South Carolina rally, Miss Arrington said at the end of it, oh God, I think I'm going to throw up in my mouth. I have waited a couple of weeks to see Big Daddy come home. Oh. But Nancy Mace starts firing off questions at the fencing official. Do you want penises in the girls' bathroom? He went, and she said, do you want girls hurt by men in sports? And he didn't get a chance to say anything. And I say the three biggest stories about trans women came about because Trump wanted to get rid of gays and trans folks, gone from view permanently, and he wanted them all out of the military. Biden brought back trans and LGBT folks back into the military and restored their medical coverage and their pensions and brought them back. If they were retired, they got their paperwork reversed to honorably discharged or honorably released, whatever. The three women complaining in swimming, volleyball, and fencing, the female fencer, Stephanie Turner, said she took a knee because they were so wrong and they tricked her. No. By the way, the trans competitor, as soon as she took a knee, was the first one over there to say, are you all right? Are you hurt? But she said she went home and cried the whole night because she got black carded. She got a black card because she refused to compete in somebody in her wage class, her height, all the rest of the stuff, and fencing level. But she wanted to make a statement, in my estimation. I was sold a lie by the U.S. fencing. But you know what? She never placed above middle of the pack. Neither one of them did. Neither one of them did. They're okay fencers, but they're not going to be Olympic fencers. Neither one of them. They're both middle of the pack. The same with the swimming controversy. They both tied for fifth place. Fifth. There's no way they were going to be in the medals, and they weren't going to go on any more competitions in the Olympic run. And she was beat by just under 1 second. Like tenths of a second is all she was beat by. And she's going on this boo-hoo tour. The volleyball player in California, however, was rated pretty high, I guess. But when other Republican Jesus schools started to complain, they started protesting and said they would not play against that college. And I believe that's another reason why Trump defunded sports programs that had anything to do with trans athletes. But mostly this one was in California, so you know him and the governor. So anybody that had trans athletes didn't get to get federal funding. Well, correction, trans women athletes, because they never, ever, ever have anything to say about transgender men competing in competitions. So they, as we used to say when we were kids, they can suck a Howie. Just saying. 99 loves you. Be good, be safe. Please take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else. Like me, love me, share me, and please don't forget to subscribe. We got to keep this going. We really do. See you tomorrow. Mwah. Love you.